when I became chairman of the committee, one of the first steps I took was to add another word into the title of the committee. It used to be Committee on Resources. I added the word natural, Committee on Natural Resources, because I felt it more adequately reflected the true jurisdiction of our committee, and certainly Guam is one of our natural resources. And I'm very happy to say that one of our staff members, when I reinstituted the subcommittee on insular affairs and gave that jurisdiction with her consent, of course, to Madeline, our subcommittee director at that time, Tony Babalto of AGOT, served as our staff director. And I'm glad to see now that President Obama has made his commitment to the territories clear by elevating the position of insular affairs to the assistant secretary level in the Department of Interior. And it's no surprise that Tony has been nominated by the president for this position. And it is our sincere hope he's gone before the Senate already for his confirmation hearings, and is expected to be confirmed shortly upon our return to Washington in September. For those of you that may be somewhat unfamiliar with the district, I have the honor and I'm very humbled to represent the 3rd District of West Virginia. We have similarities to Guam. Like Guam, we depend rather heavily on tourism as our economic engine. Tourists flock to southern West Virginia, and they flock to Guam, of course, as well, because of the scenic vistas, the serene retreats, the natural beauty, and the incredibly reasonable and affordable costs. We have places in which our constituents, as you do here on Guam, can take their families, and with today's hard working world and with both the breadwinners so often on the work trail, the time spent at home with the families is not a great deal of quantity, and so the quality has to be superb when that time is spent at home. And our natural areas where you can go and reconnect with that which God has richly bestowed us provides those serene areas where we can take our families and truly reconnect with one another as a family unit and reconnect with God as well. In my capacity as chairman of this committee, we have undertaken many efforts to preserve and protect beautiful sites, making sure that they remain accessible to our people. Currently, for example, we're working to reauthorize the Coastal Zone Management Program to give the coastal states and the territories federal support and the tools with which they can plan for responsible and sustainable development and to protect the integrity of our coastlines and our beaches. We know how important this planning is for Guam, especially in light of the military buildup and the fact that all of Guam is designated a coastal zone. The Natural Resources Committee has been proactive over the past 2 years in passing legislation that seeks to protect our marine habitats and oceans. More than ever, the effects of climate change are being felt by our coasts with grave and devastating effects on our insular areas. Pending in Congress as part of our comprehensive energy bill is a proposal to establish a national climate service to provide real-time data to stakeholders all across the country about temperature variance. We know how critical and fundamental it will be to ensure the University of Guam is involved in this process, particularly as a worldwide research network is underway. Congresswoman Bagallo has been tremendous through her subcommittee on the Insular Affairs, Oceans, and Wildlife on this legislation and helping to ensure that we remedy and provide the solutions to protect our oceans and to protect our coasts. So the attention in Congress right now with respect to Guam is the military buildup. We had a tour of the island yesterday. We had breakfast on the USS Frank Cable, and we have been able to see firsthand and up close something that you don't fully comprehend through the hearing process in Washington or through the memos you may read from staff or through the figures you may read in books. It truly takes an upfront and firsthand visit such as we're doing to comprehend the many complex issues, and then it's still difficult, I'll admit, that are involved in such a buildup. The relocation of some 8,000 Marines from Okinawa to this island is a tremendous undertaking. But I want you to rest assured that we are working daily and working very hard to make sure that developments that do not occur just inside the fence, so to speak. That the U.S. government also makes investments and improvements outside the fence as well. I'm committed to working with my colleagues to ensure that the civilian needs are a part of the plan, and I'm working with Congressman Badallo to ensure that many of these issues outside the fence, so to speak, are addressed as well. For example, last year in September, we held a subcommittee oversight hearing on identifying the various labor solutions for the build-up. Dr. Underwood was present and testified on the importance of ensuring that the University of Guam and Guam Community College are at the forefront in developing training opportunities, that most critically, the adequate resources are in place to meet these labor demands. It's so important that we not overlook these issues. Our committees also continue to work to provide resources to Guam to determine their political status. It is a goal within our oversight plan adopted at the start of the 111th Congress to advance legislation fulfilling our constitutional obligation to provide for a process for self-determination for the indigenous peoples of the territories. Right now, the focus has been on developing a process for the people of Puerto Rico to express their views on status. As a committee, we are open to working toward solutions for each territory, and know that on Guam it is important to secure federal support from the Department of Interior for public education efforts focused on the various political status options. So the task before us, as I conclude here on Guam and the remaining insular areas, are vast. But I am confident that the right leadership is in place, that we have responsible members on our committee on natural resources on both sides of the aisle, and that we have the necessary partnerships working with you here in Guam, working with our military, and that we have cooperation on all parties. I'm very confident that those essential ingredients are in place and they're being forged even closer every day. We certainly have our work cut out for us, but I want to, as I sit down, say thank you for the understanding, the patience, the partnership, and most importantly, the efforts that so many on Guam have made to help ensure the strength and security of our United States. We appreciate it. Again, thank you for having me here this morning.
We'll now take a few questions from the audience, and Dave Okada over here has the microphone. And so if anybody would like to address something, please make yourself a question to Congressman Rahall. Please make yourself known.
Buenas, Manana Sidus. Guam Secretary Torres, Chairman of the Independence Task Force of the Commission on Decolonization, and also Magahaga of the Tautahona Native Rights. My question is, how do you visualize, as a member of U.S. Congress, the future position and role of the U.S. military should we obtain either independence or free association in exercising our self-determination? Also, I would like to ask you if you could devote a little bit on what the U.S. plan to do on the uprising of waters and some of those atolls and islands in the Pacific Ocean, especially Micronesia, because of global warming. What do you plan to do with those people? How do you help them? Thank you very much.
Well, I touched upon both of these issues in my remarks, and I think certainly in whatever political status is determined in the future, the fact that Guam is in such a strategic position and is of a strategic interest to the United States, that we will continue to ensure that this buildup that is going to occur it is done in a way, as I said, that affects and takes into account all issues that surround the island of Guam. It involves more than just inside the fence, inside